Hello, everybody. Welcome to Dimensional Walking. I'm Rainbow, and I'm the other half. Michael is taking a little break today, so I thought I would come in and talk to you guys about something that has been on my mind for a while. I usually try to talk to you guys about stuff I think you'll be interested in, especially if you're an experiencer or somebody who actually has had memories of alien abductions or anything to do with UFOs or just any kind of even family members who have had experiences and stuff like that. And in saying this, there are some things that I remember as a child of happening to me, and I thought, well, I'd bring them up to your attention and see if you've had the same experiences as well and what you think. The title of today's video is called Alien Powers, and I know that sounds kind of cliche, but I don't mean it in that sense of aliens have power. The whole point of the title was basically we are taught things when we're real young, especially those of us who are experiencers. And what happens to us when we're older and we lose it? And so, do we really lose it, or do we just, with the fears of the experiences, push them back into the back of our memory, into the library, and just kind of tuck it away so that we don't have to think about it? And I don't want to do that. That's something that doesn't interest me. I appreciate seeing videos of UFOs. I enjoy stories of people's experiences. But I'm at a point now in my evolution, I guess, of acknowledging the fact that I've had all this stuff happen to me. I'm on that next page. I want to get beyond all of this and go a little bit further because I don't want to forget what I was taught. So, if we're taught abilities or, quote unquote powers by the aliens, why do we lose it? Or do we lose it? What happens to it? So, different things can happen. I think that when I was a child, I don't think I know, what happened to me when I was in school is I had a really difficult time not doing the telepathy because I was talked to by Grays and by one specific alien named Meek Mohan, and he would speak to me in my mind, and it was just normal to be thinking thoughts and to have him understand what I was thinking. And a few of the mantids as well. But the point is that how did I lose that? I mean, or is it just being able to connect to a species or beings who are so highly evolved that, for them, they were probably doing all the mechanics, all the work in order for me to be able to telepath to them. They just made it easy for me. Because I don't know if it's that much easier to telepath to another human being. Now, I'm empathic. I can feel feelings and emotions, and I probably have more in common with ghosts and people who've passed on than I sometimes do with the living. Because for some reason I can understand them and I get messages from them. But when it comes to the living, I have a harder time telepathing back and forth to them. I don't always get the message. Now, I have that ability with my daughter and my sisters, but outside of that, I don't have it with anybody else. Now, one thing that happened to me when I was younger is I went to a Catholic school, and the aliens that I worked with taught me how to levitate. And I remember when I was 6 years old, and if you've heard this story before on this channel, just forgive me. I'm just going to say it for those who haven't. But one day when I was at recess, I was with a little girl and we were playing, and I remember that I levitated and did something unusual with my mind, which is what the aliens had taught me. And then when I kind of came back down, she was very scared. There was another little girl that came up and they were scared, and they told me that if I wanted to have any friends, I just shouldn't do that. And I wish I could, in my mind, remember exactly what it was that I did. I just don't have memory of it because I blocked it, because I was so devastated that the girls just ran off scared of me and telling me that I wouldn't have friends if I did that I never did it again. And I don't even know if the aliens could get me to do it again after that, because I just didn't want to do it. I thought, you know what, if I'm not going to have any friends, if I do this, then I'm not doing it. Because, you know, as a 6-year-old, you want friends. You want to be able to go hang out, and I always wanted to get invited to those birthday parties and all that stuff. And at this particular school, I was kind of an oddity. I was the odd, you know, little girl out, unfortunately. And what happened also was I was bussed out of this school and taken to other areas, and I don't believe that my parents were notified of this. So what that brings me to another question that I have is, what happens to us when specific groups decide that we're no longer desirable? Does that mean that we just kind of carry on and live our lives as usual? Because there's no going back to usual or the norm, because we've already had these experiences. Like, for instance, I have memory of being in the back woods area behind Los Alamos, New Mexico, and working with grays with other children and seeing military around, and actually levitating with the help of the specific gray, whatever grays were, gray aliens that were basically working with each one of us. We each had one gray who was telepathing to us and helping us to levitate. And I remember that I would kind of get up in the air, and then I would just fall, and I'd hit my knees and my elbows, and I remember it would hurt. So I wasn't very good at it. And at a certain point, after you're hurting for a while, you basically don't want to do it anymore. So I think that after what those little girls told me, or that one specific little girl told me, and then the pain and suffering that I went through with the levitation, with the grays and the force on the back end of the town of Los Alamos, I think I just didn't want to do it anymore. And you know what? You can't make a child do something that they don't want to do. I mean, you can put the fear of God into them and just say, if you don't do this, you're going to, you know, whatever. And I think they did do that, because I remember some horrific I remember something horrific that stuck in my mind about them taking puppies and little baby rabbits and puppies and kittens and doing something to them to make the point very clear that if I didn't do what they asked, you know, I would be responsible for this animal getting hurt or, you know, put down. And so I think there's memory of cruelty that is connected to the alien powers that I was taught. But I don't know if I'm able to do these things outside of having help from the specific groups that were trying to teach me how to do these things. I think they changed my life forever. So for me, it's not just being able to see UFOs, which I've seen my whole life, especially living in New Mexico. I lived there, I've seen them, and I've had them close by me. I've touched them, I've been inside, I have memory of all of that. So they're cool, yeah, seeing them, it's kind of nice, but I'm kind of beyond that as well. As far as the experiences with them telling us about our future predictions and things like that, I'm over that as well, because I know there's many people who have been told many different things by different alien groups, and well, the predictions haven't come to fruition, because there's so many different groups that have so many different, they have some kind of interest on this planet, so they're not going to allow something to happen that's not in their best interest. So I don't really have much faith in what they tell us. What I do have faith in is in humanity. So what about human powers? What about our ability to go back and remember ourselves? I remember a while back, it was probably back, I think I have it in my diary, maybe 6-7 years ago, there was a male voice that said to me, remember who you are. And he was very adamant. He said, you need to remember who you are. And I think that if we can remember who we are, that these these superhuman powers can come back to us. We do have junk DNA. If we can open up those parts of our brain and just remember where we come from, I think that we will understand who we are and what's going to happen in the future. I can't say, I don't mind the fact that had those experiences with levitation and telepathy, but I want to know if I can take these abilities and use them now. I want to know what it is about me where I can actually go ahead and develop these abilities on my own. I think it takes tenacity to want to be able to do that, but I think it has a lot to do with, as that voice told me, remembering who I am. So I think if as a society we can kind of remember who we are, who knows what we might remember. We might have abilities that we have forgotten or pushed back or pushed aside. I think that there's been a lot of people who stated, well, when the aliens come, we're kind of like this experiment, something they created. Well, even they were created. Everything is in existence has been created. I don't think that we're monkeys, and I sure as heck hate that terminology with people being monkeys. And I have nothing against monkeys because I love animals. But what I'm saying is that that's a derogatory term. It's used as a derogatory term, basically saying that we're like on the low end of the spectrum as far as intelligence. And I think it's just because we've actually had blocks placed in so that we can't remember. So I want to remember. So I don't want it to be alien powers. I want it to be human powers. I want us to remember who we are and what we're capable of doing. I don't see why we can't use telepathy to communicate with each other. I think there's probably people who can and have probably established that ability. I know that there's governments who've looked into that for many, many years. I know the Montauk group, they were trying to figure out how to create this ability to go into other places and to not only be able to use the mind in ways that we've never used before, but to create a different type of human. We're going into a place right now in history where changes have to be made as far as humanity goes. I want to be part of that change. So I think I have it in me to develop these abilities. I just want to know what you guys think. Did you have these experiences? What else did they have you do? I think that for all of us, we have different experiences. Those are the main two that I remembered. I can't, for some reason, remember everything. It's been blocked. But from what I can remember, I had good communication and relationships with the alien groups that I dealt with. I can't say in the last, let's see, I'm, believe it or not, going to be 60 next month. So that means for about 20 years, I can't specifically say that I've had groups come in to where I can remember having conversations with them. It was mostly in my 20s and I think towards the end of my 30s. Well, actually from childhood, let's just say from childhood all the way up to the end of my 30s, where I've had most of my communication with alien groups. What about you guys? Did they stay in contact with you throughout the whole time? Have I blocked it out here in my later years? Or maybe I just put my foot down and said, nah, we're kind of done. Can we do that? Are we able to do that? Do they see that when we get to a certain point when that common terminology of awake and aware, that can mean anything for anybody. But when we do remember ourselves, does that mean that we have this ability to do amazing things? I don't know. I'm just asking that question. So anyways, so if you guys think that there's something here of interest for you, let me know. I'm kind of interested in that and hearing what you have to say. Also, I apologize for those of you who have written in and I haven't got back to those comments. I've been working over 40 hours every week, and my job is pretty exhausting. So getting here to do this video was quite the feat because I was very exhausted today. But I did want to talk to you guys about this and see what you had to say. So alien powers, human powers, what have you been taught? Do you remember? Did you forget? Or like me, do you want to remember again and figure out how to do it? But do it on human terms, not on alien terms. So thank you for watching this video. Thank you for subscribing to our channel. If you have any comments, and I'm going to try to be much more efficient in getting answers to your comments, please feel free to comment down below, or you can write us at dimensionalwalking@gmail.com. Michael and I are hoping to add a little extra stuff here to this channel. We're trying to figure it out. You know, being older and technology, sometimes age and technology don't always go together, but we're figuring stuff out. So we're trying to kind of take you guys with us on excursions. But that last video that we had done with when we were walking in the area of where I met, had contact with Borgia, it was a little shaky. So we're trying to figure out how to make those videos a little more comfortable for you guys to watch. So just hang in there with us. We're trying to figure out new and different things to do for you guys. And again, thank you. We so greatly appreciate you guys being here and for the fact that you're willing to watch our videos. We really appreciate it. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video, but I don't know what it'll be about, and I don't know when, but I'll try to make it exciting for you, or at least something interesting that you might want to watch. So take care, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye-bye.